Hello, welcome to Anytime Yoga. In today's session, we are going to progress further on from yesterday's, which was all about the forward bend. So this session is going to incorporate the twist, giving us a double whammy of benefits, whereby we are going to subdue the ego, quiet the mind, and get some fresh, rich, oxygenated blood pumping around our body. So grab your mat and get on it. Today's practice then is all about progressing on from yesterday's, whereby the main focus was forward bends. We're going to continue flexing our spine forward today, but incorporating with it the twist. So we get a double whammy of benefits. The forward bends that are calming and soothing to the nervous system, helping to maintain blood pressure regulation, and also allowing the ego to become subdued, the mind quiet. Also, forward bends promote healthy sleep. Bringing a twist into the occasion, we're going to increase vitality within our spine, boost our energy levels, and enhance the overall feeling of well-being, because we're going to be injecting rich oxygenated blood into many parts that are hidden deep within our internal organs. So, let's find ourselves in a seated position to begin with, cross-legged. You might like a wall behind you so that this can support the back and help as you grow and develop your core strength. You want to connect to your belly button. Watch its activity as you breathe with a nice rhythmic, regular breath. Let's take time now to connect and become aware of our breath cycle. And you might like to close the eyes and have an inward view for this. Switching off from the outside world, leave your cares and troubles outside of the room as you now pull focus and tune in to the self. You are an amazing organism made up of billions of cells that all need nurturing and oxygen to survive healthily, to grow with good health. You'll notice that as you commence observation of the breath, you then have immediate ability to consciously control it. And you can start by lengthening your inhalation, taking longer about this activity, pulling the breath into your lungs and increasing their capacity, acknowledging that they fill from bottom to top and your chest opens, allowing room for the lungs to fill. And then you'll think about letting go of that breath, slowly, fully, completely, emptying them lungs as the chest closes. And even though you think you've taken the fullest breath out, just see if you can push a little bit more. This helps clean the lining of your lungs and prepares you to take your next full, complete breath in. And after some moments of being watchful over your breath, you can then expand upon this by scanning the body for any pockets of tension. These will possibly be mainly around the shoulders or in the hips. So soften in these areas. Let your shoulders drop down away from your ears. Find length in the neck area. Allow your knees to relax outwards so that your hips surrender. Let's now boost elevation in the trunk of the body by taking that deep inhalation and rising up, sitting tall, increasing your stature. No collapsing when you breathe out. You do surrender and soften into the position. However, you stay stimulated upward, inspired to sit straight. Engaging all the flesh on the trunk of your body, the skin, the single biggest organ of you. Engage and activate your latissimus dorsi here, the biggest muscle group in your torso. So let's bring our hands just to rest on our knees, and we can use them for a little bit of leverage as we draw up through the trunk, lift our hips away from our thigh bones and hinge forward. A nice warming up, extension through the back spine. Connecting at the base of our spine, the coccygeal region, and really lifting up through all 33 bones of the spinal column, getting our head and neck in natural alignment to this, so we're not holding our head up too much, creating creases in the back of the neck, and we're not dropping our chin down too heavy toward our chest yet. We're actually feeling our way, and then we can place our hands down and slowly, with the breath, especially upon exhalation, you'll be able to feel when the body is ready to surrender and take you further forward. And for those of you that do feel ready, take a breath in, and when you exhale, flex the elbows down towards the ground. You'll breathe in to inspire the lift and the lengthening and the creating of space, and then you'll exhale, flex the elbows down. Breathe in once again, increase elevation now, and then exhale, flex the elbows down. Let's bring the left hand onto our left inner thigh, just inside the knee. We don't want to push down onto the kneecap. We don't want to stress or strain the knee joint. So bring the left hand just on the inner thigh there, and turn the right arm, the forearm, to rest in front of you. Now, if you're not actually down to the floor, then rest the forearm into the lap. Remember, we're letting go of the ego. We're not in competition with ourselves. So we can take it nice and easy. We can be kind to the self, to the body, to the mind. Let's take a breath in. Upraise through the torso, through the internal organs. Think of lifting the tummy. And then let's bring the twist into action. So we're now rotating in an anti-clockwise position with the torso, turning the head and neck to look up towards the ceiling. Keep the breath flowing through the pose. We don't want to stop the breath because that will cause strain. We want the energy to continue to flow fully, making us feel balanced and harmonious. And then consciously controlling, especially in the stomach, the support that it's giving the spine. We're going to swap over. So we bring our left forearm to rest either on the floor or in the lap. Right hand, right inner thigh, keeping away from the knee joint, no pressure on the knee. And then again, stimulating the body through a breath in, stimulating it to increase space. And then connecting with the spinal cord and turning it to the right. Allowing the head and neck to turn to the right also. Revolving the upper bones of the spinal column to look up towards the ceiling. Unclench your teeth and breathe. And then keep in sight of the activity of the belly button and pulling it in to return to neutral. Nice rising up through the torso. So a nice simple flex and twist to start us off. And now will take us into Paschimottanasana, forward bend. It's actually forward extension of the spine, and it does help to fully subdue the ego and quiet the mind, and it's going to prepare us for bringing a twist into play too. So let's turn ourselves sideways on the mat. Let's get ourselves into Dandasana, staff posture, whereby we look at the foundation of the position, extending down through the legs, drawing all 10 toes back to our body. We went through this position in detail yesterday, and so let us progress on. You can make any adjustments that you might think necessary, sitting yourself further forward by pulling the flesh of your buttocks from behind you and up into the small of the back. Avoid pulling the buttocks out to the side. We don't want to get build up around the hips here. Get your shoulders level. Again, you might like your belt or strap to be handy, because this could go around the balls of your feet. Let's take a breath in, lift the stomach, and walk the hands forward. Enlivening the legs to work for us too. If you've left your toes pointing to the wall behind you, it gives you so much further to reach. And really, you want to connect with those toes, so draw the toes back towards you. And this will include the legs into the position. Again, remembering to work to a comfortable capacity. Don't overstretch. If your legs shake at any time, that is your nervous system telling you that you've gone a bit too far. So you should just come back and work on the breath cycle and being observant and allowing your guide, your breath, to take you forward. And in the fullness of the position, whether that be right down here with forearms beside shins, or if you're resting your hands on your shins, or if you've got your belt or strap, whatever level, when you get to the point that is comfortable, attune to the breath. If the mind is chattering and lots of thoughts coming through, revert it to the breath. Concentrate, stay focused, journey with your breath. Your breath is guiding you, so go on the journey with your breath. See where it takes you. And then we'll increase support of our spine by activating and engaging the stomach, the abdominals, the latissimus dorsi, as we walk those hands back towards our hips, relax our shoulders down, and come back to Dandasana. Let's practice a twist now, a very basic twist, because then we will bring the twist and the forward bend together. So we create space by breathing in and lifting up. We bring our left hand outside of our right knee. Let's swim our right hand behind us and bring it quite close in toward the base of the spine, the coccygeal region. You'll find that when you straighten that arm, it can be used as a prop, almost like a wall behind you. So it actually helps engage the spine. It boosts it to lift upwards. And then you continue enlivening the trunk of the body and then rotating, revolving the 33 vertebrae in your spine. Always starting deep down in the base, through the middle, to the upper, and it's the head and neck that go last. Keeping that right shoulder relaxed. Unclench your teeth. Pivot the head at the very top. It sits on C1 and C2 vertebra of the spine, known as the atlas and the axis. Gives great potential ability for movement of the head, the skull. So keep that twist, that rising up from the twist as you revolve to neutral, preparing to go in the opposite direction. You're going to bring right hand outside left knee, left hand, swim it around you, bring it behind you, rise up through your torso, enliven, lift and turn. And you can use that right hand to give you leverage. Really relax those shoulders down away from the ears in the fullness of your position. And then coming back to centre. Let's progress now to bring the two together. And we'll take it step by step. And remember, you stop and practice at the point that is most comfortable for you. Let's bring our right hand outside our right hip. Let's bring our left hand outside our right outer thigh toward the knee area. Let's breathe in and let's lever ourselves so that we're really bringing that left shoulder to the right hand side and we're taking our right shoulder back. A nice deep inhalation, lift internally, pubis to navel, raise the stomach, uplift other internal organs, always looking to create space to move into. So you're going to have a little hinge forward now. Think about picking those hips up away from the femur bones. You're going to bring your left elbow outside of your right knee if you can. If you can't actually get it to that level at the moment, you could rest it in your lap for now. As long as you are progressing toward the fullness of the position, following your guide, your breath, and it will tell you when you can move on further. From here, you want to see if you can just relax the forearm down. And of course, still working in the position. It may look as if it is static, but lots is going on deep inside, because every time you breathe in, you're increasing the space. And when you breathe out, you're then surrendering. Every time you breathe in, you're preparing yourself, especially for taking the twist, circulating the spine as you breathe out. pulling the stomach in as you return central to go to the other side. So bring your left hand just outside of your left hip, right hand just outside of your left outer thigh or just around the knee area. Again, no pressure on the knee joint. Create your lift, your elevation, enliven the flesh. Send a message from mind to skin on the body, on the trunk of the body, and say lift and turn with the spine. Get those hips rising up and then a little hinge forward as you make adjustments and adapt. You might want to take your right hand down and rest it outside of your left shin. You might be ready to bring that right elbow outside of your left knee, and that helps give you leverage. Check in the face for any pockets of tension. You can unfurrow the brow, unclench your teeth. And pull focus on the stomach to return you centrally. Now we'll take a breath in and draw the right heel in towards our perineum. We're going to just move ourselves to the right slightly through our torso. We're going to take another breath in. Every time we inhale, we rise upwards, we create space. And then we're going to exhale and flex to the left. We're going to use our left arm and we're going to rotate the hand so the palm faces the ceiling, and we're going to hedge it down towards our left foot. If you can reach that far, the left thumb will go on the front of the foot and the fingers will curl around the ball of the left foot. If you can't get that far, rest your forearm onto the mat in front of you, close alongside your left leg. Maybe rest it on the left thigh for now. There are different levels to work at. You don't want to go beyond your capacity. You don't want to overstretch. You just want to observe and focus. Once you get to a comfortable place in your posture, you can then think about opening out in the torso, bringing the right side of the chest up towards the ceiling. So you're actually opening your heart space. And then another breath in to really stretch from right hip all the way along the right hand side of your torso, opening out under right armpit, stretching that armpit through to the elbow, to the wrist, to the fingertips, and seeing if the right fingers can come over toward the left hand, wherever that may be. So you might be here, you might be here, you might even like to try and work at holding the trunk of the body, so you actually engage the latissimus dorsi, those muscles in the torso, to keep you uplifted, and stretch and twist and bend at the same time. And hold the position for as long as it feels good for you. If you can only hold for a couple of seconds in your beginner's realms of practicing yoga, then that's fine. You will find in time, with regular practice, you'll be able to hold for longer, because you will have united the mind and body through the breath. You'll master knowing about your breathing and how it guides you, and from there everything will become second nature, and you'll just progress further and further. And then we breathe in and we come up to a central position and we swap to the other side. So we're going to draw the left heel in towards our perineum, pubis, and extend our right leg out. And repeat all over again, creating space, lifting, adjusting, adapting, finding which way the journey will take us, how our breath wants to guide us, ensuring that we know we can stay at a lower level of the position and just observe, get to know what our mind is asking our body to do and how much our body can actually do at this present time. And it's going to be ever changing. So you might like to just rest the forearm along the shin. It might be resting on the thigh. It might be resting on the mat in line with the leg. If you can turn the right hand so the palm of the hand faces the ceiling and link down towards your foot, remember, draw your toes back towards your torso because that makes them that little bit closer to you. You bring your right thumb at front of right foot and right fingers behind ball of right foot. And there's your connection. And be watchful in the pose so that you can stimulate or even experience the body being stimulated. You might like to close the eyes for a round of breath. And generally just feel it. And when you're ready, you can begin to lift that left hand, and as soon as the left hand lifts away from the place of support it started at, begin to engage left side of the body. Think of lifting left hip away from the left femur. Think of stretching the flesh all the way along the left hand side, activating the latissimus dorsi muscles so that they begin to elevate too. And then reaching, opening out under the armpit, stretching the flesh on the arm from armpit to elbow, elbow to wrist, wrist to fingertips. To begin with, it doesn't necessarily matter of how low you can go. There's much space to be made in the stretch, and then you can soften. You might be here, you might be here. You might want to try out holding the torso upright, or at least without support from the arms. So this will really engage core strength. Just feel your way. Remember, anytime you close your eyes, you're going to immediately look inward and gain a better picture of what you're doing, what shape you're making. Especially if you've done your research and had a look online at diagrams of the skeleton, started learning what bones are what and how they're connected, because as we all know, every part of the body is connected to another part. And every part counts. So then we engage with our core to bring us upright. Coming into a central position momentarily so that we can take space and become aware of how we feel, both internally and externally. Quick scan of the body. Check if you're holding your shoulders up here. Can you relax them down? Maybe give them a little bit of a shake. Are your knees up here? Are you tight in your hips, still holding on to those hip joints too much? Can you just let them relax and allow the knees to drop outward? And then we bring ourselves once again into Dandasana, staff posture. So we're going to stretch our legs out in front of us. So here's where we bring a full spinal flexion forward and twist into play. This position and movement has many benefits, especially for the female and the reproductive organs. For what happens is we open up and create space as we move into the extension of the spine forward, and by twisting also we create more opening, and when we breathe fully this will flush through rich oxygenated blood all here in the pelvic region. So the origin of this movement is in the hips, the pelvis. Everything gets lifted, lots of space gets made, then it gets twisted, then the breath flows in and out and pumps the rich oxygen which swirls round. And then when you come back to your neutral position, you then give time for all those new rich levels of oxygen to settle. Let's get on with it. So let's create space, rising up, lifting up, turning to the right, adjusting, adapting, creating leverage, incorporating all parts. Our toes are coming towards the trunk of the body, our legs are working, the breath is flowing round in an ever circulating motion. So we're already getting fed by oxygen. We uplift the stomach so that we create space. We increase the space we have in the lower region of our body by travelling upwards, by elevating. Think about pulling pubis to navel. And then every breath out, there's that slight hinge forward. See if you can bring that left elbow outside of right knee. Again, adjust, rotate a little further. You could even use your hands to smooth the skin round. You're going in a clockwise rotation, a twist. See if that left hand, the thumb, can reach front of right foot, fingers behind. Ensure both sitting bones still remain connected to the mat equally. Avoid letting one sit bone rise up. If that's happening, that's showing incorrect posture. So just come back out of the position a little, work with the breath. And then we're going to stretch through that right arm from the right hip as well. The stretch comes all the way along the right hand side. And see if those right fingers can come down towards left toes. So you've got your left hand on your right foot with the left thumb front of foot, left fingers wrapped around the ball of the right foot, and then in the fullness of your twist, your right arm has come over and your right fingers are capturing the left toes. And draw that right elbow up towards the ceiling so that you can look through under the armpit, under the right upper arm, and rotate the head and neck to look up towards the ceiling. And take deep, long breaths here. Really get that rich oxygenated blood pumping from your heart all the way down into the pelvic area. And then nice and gently revolve into that forward bend of Paschimottanasana, and then pulling up through the spine to restack it into Dandasana, staff posture. Now you may want to give yourself a little bit of a wiggle, a little bit of a shake, and then we'll move round to focus on doing the same again, all on the other side. So in Dandasana to begin with, create that lift, that elevation, and then bring right hand outside of left outer leg. Choose your positioning. You might want it up on the thigh here to begin with, so that you can really get some rotation in your spine going on. You might want it just outside the knee or along the shin. Just have those moments of swiveling the trunk of the body first, whilst also elevating the hips and thinking about creating space. And then let's see if we can now bring that right elbow outside of left knee. And if you're not there yet, that's fine. Even just doing the rotation is starting it off. Doing the forward bend separately, it's starting the process of being able to bring them together. Adapt and adjust. Stay comfortable. Stay within your working capacity. Can you turn the left hand and reach the right hand? Can you turn the right hand, palm up? Reach the right hand towards the left foot. Right thumb on front of foot and right fingers round the ball of the left foot. And observe. Adjust. Journey with the breath, your guide. And when you're ready, you can release the left arm. Ensure that your weight is still resting into both sit bones. Avoid allowing that right sit bone to come off the mat. Activate and engage the flesh on the trunk of the body. You're reaching that left arm over, but it actually starts from the left hip. It's stretching up. You can use your hand as well to help move the trunk of the body. And see if you can take those left fingertips towards your right toes. Bending that left elbow up towards the ceiling so you're able to really turn the head and neck to look up towards the ceiling. Unclench your teeth. Unfurrow the brow. Let it relax, let it soften. And then concentrate on taking a couple of rounds of really deep breaths to pump that oxygen into your basin, your pelvic area. In the olden days, your pelvis used to be known as the basin. It's the point that connects lower body with upper body, and there's a whole lot that goes on in there. So it's really good to revive it with extra oxygen. And then being kind to the self as you come out, just allowing that twist to develop into just the forward bend. And then pulling the tummy in to come upright into Dandasana once more, before finally bringing yourself into a cross-legged position, nice and comfortable. Use a wall behind you if you need to. Relax and surrender any pockets of tension that you may have created. This can happen through your practice, but as long as you are aware of them, and then just draw breath into them and then surrender them as you breathe out. Close the eyes, connecting to your inner self. becoming aware of how you feel internally and externally. Remembering, yoga can be practiced anytime, almost anywhere, and by everyone for the good of all. So we'll see you again tomorrow.